Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video of my Intro to Vex CAD tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to interact with the Onshape interface. At this point in time, you should have already created an Onshape account. If you haven't, I would recommend you to go back and watch the previous video. Now, let's go over the session overview. In this session, I will show you how to create documents, which are like files that Onshape uses to store your CAD designs. Next, I'll show you stuff about the Onshape interface, specifically about the different studios in Onshape and the different parts of the assembly studio. Finally, I'll show you how to interact with the graphics area, which is where the CAD design actually is. When you first arrive at Onshape, you will arrive at this site. At this point, you might want to start jumping right into your CAD. However, it is important to know how to navigate the Onshape interface first. First, I'll start by showing you the different ways that Onshape organizes its documents. First is the Owned by Me section. This is quite literally any document that's owned by you. Next is the Recently Opened section. This is documents that you have opened. This can be your own documents or documents that you have found through the library. Next is the Created by Me document section. This section is things that are created by you, even though it may not currently be owned by you. Next is the Shared with Me section. This is any projects, folders that have been shared with you. Next is the Teams, which are any teams you are in. And next is Public. Over here, you can search up different projects and find what other people have made. And finally, this is the Trash. Anything that you've recently deleted in the last 30 days can be found over here. Now let's start by creating a document. To create a document, you click on the blue Create button at the top. At this point, you'll see many options. A document is what you will use generally for CADing. A folder is a place where you can store multiple documents, and you can also import files from online. But for this case, we'll just be using a document. Now you will name the document. Over here, you can name the document and choose where the folder will be. Putting your documents in folders allows for your workspace to be much more organized and makes it much easier to find your projects. Now let's name the document using the document name section. For this video, I will be naming the project First Robot. When you open up the document, you'll see two tabs at the bottom, the Parts Studio and the Assembly. Part studios are primarily used for creating custom parts, while assemblies are what you will mainly focus on for robotics CADing. An example of a part studio is this, which is a custom polycarb piece. While an example of an assembly is this, which is a clawbot. In Vex CADing, you'll primarily focus on using assemblies, just like how I created this clawbot. To manage your tabs, you can simply right-click on a studio and choose a command. For this case, I will delete this tab. But if you want to add a tab back in, you can simply click on the plus icon, choose the tab you want to add in, and it'll open up. Now let's move back to the assembly. I will be showing you the different parts of the assembly studio. In an assembly, there are three main sections. The first one is the white space on the right. This is called the graphics area. The graphics area is where you directly interact with the parts and create your CAD design. Moving on, I'm going to cover the features and parts list. This is the panel on the left side of the screen. Over here, you can find information about the parts, and it is used to manage the items that are on the graphics area. Finally, I'm going to cover the toolbar, which is a row of icons at the top of the screen. Over here, you can find many different commands that are used to operate Onshape. For example, you can find the mate, fasten mate over here. You can also find other tools like snap mode. But if you're ever unable to find a certain mate, you can go to the right hand side and click on the search bar. Let's say I couldn't find snap mode. All I need to do is search it up and click on the tool. When you choose a tool, you can see a shortcut to do the tool. You can also see the shortcut by going to the Help menu and clicking Keyboard Shortcuts. Using shortcuts is very useful for speeding up your CAD time. However, memorizing the shortcuts aren't very important to improving your CAD skill. Once you have a 3D model created, some other useful tools are the measurement tools at the bottom. Over here, you can see a measuring tape icon, a protractor icon, and a weighing scale icon. These tools allow you to analyze different aspects of your CAD design. The measurement tool over here can be used to measure distances, angles, and surface area of a part. You can do this by clicking on two different faces or parts. Or if you click on these two lines, you can see that the angle between them is 90 degrees. Moving on to the clawbot assembly, another important tool is the tool which you can see when clicking on the weighing scale icon. Over here, you can find the weight of a part and its center of mass. This can be useful as it can allow you to find the tipping point. Moving on, in the upper left corner, you can find the document menu. Over here, you can change document properties, such as renaming document as so. You can also copy the workspace or update the workspace units or properties. For example, if you click on this, you can change the units. In this case, I can change it from inches to millimeters. If you click check, this will save, and if you click X, it will revert back to the previous units. In this corner, you can also find the version and history. This can be useful because it allows you to create new versions and compare efficiency and changes over time. Also, if you don't like how your design turned out, you can always roll back to a previous stage. Onshape documents are saved automatically, but if you want to create a new version, you have to come here and manually create one. Lastly, because Onshape is a cloud-based software, it allows you to share your projects. This is very essential if you want to collaborate with other people on your team. To share your document, you simply click on the blue share button in the top right. Over here, you can type in your teammates' names or emails. You can do this regardless of whether they have an account attached to their email. You can also share this document to every Onshape user by making your document public. If you don't want to make your document public, but you don't know your friends' emails, you can also use link sharing by going over here and turning on link sharing. When sharing the document to an individual, you can change the settings. This setting allows whoever you're sharing it to copy the document. This setting allows them to export it, and this setting allows them to share with other people, while this setting allows them to comment. And this allows them to delete the project itself. Now, let's move on to the fun part. I will be showing you how to interact with the graphics area. When creating your CAD design, it is important to be able to zoom, rotate, or move around the graphics area to check all angles of your design. To pan or move your design, you simply can click Control and drag around your mouse. If you ever drag your design too far off, if you click F, it will revert back to the center. To rotate your design, you can just right-click and drag your mouse. Another way to do this is to use the arrow keys. If you ever want to limit your design to a horizontal or vertical view, you can go to the top and click on the view cube. You can also get a certain angled view using this cube. You can also rotate the view by clicking the various arrows at the top. The shortcuts for these different views are Shift and a number key. This is Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4, Shift 5, Shift 6, and Shift 7. Shift 7 is the isometric or diagonal view. You can also get it by clicking on the cube button over here. Next, to zoom in or out of the model, you can use 2 fingers on a trackpad or mouse, as so. One thing to note while doing this is that Onshape zooms in and out to your cursor. This means that if you're trying to zoom in on, let's say, the claw, you want to hover over it before zooming in. If you ever get lost while doing this, you can just click F to revert back to the center. Congratulations for getting this far. Now let's test how much you paid attention to. It's your turn now. Create an Onshape document with the name First Bot and explore the interface on your own. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment it down below.